End SARS anniversary. Police release detained protesters as leaders demand implementation of panel report. 9 months after devastating explosion in Bodija, affected residents call for urgent government intervention. NDLEA arrests Canada-based nurse, businessman for drug trafficking. And on the international scene, cholera fears as Sudan faces a worsening water crisis. A very good evening and welcome to the news update on Trust Television. My name is Sagir Ibrahim. Thanks for joining. And we start the bulletin with security marches. The police arrested 22 protesters on Sunday morning at Lekki Toll Gate, Lagos, during a peaceful commemoration of the 4th anniversary of the End SARS protest and the tragic shooting of October 20th, 2020. The demonstrators had gathered to honor the victims of the military intervention during the End SARS movement, which sought to end police brutality and the disbandment of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS. Although SARS was officially disbanded, the protest continued, with Lekki Toll Gate becoming a symbolic location for the movement. During Sunday's memorial, which featured peaceful gatherings, singing, and the waving of placards, police officers disrupted the event with tear gas and gunfire. In the ensuing chaos, 22 protesters, including Comrade Hassan Taiwo Soweto, a key member of the End Bad Governance movement in Lagos, were arrested. The arrests have raised concerns about the government's approach to peaceful protests, as many Nigerians continue to call for justice for the victims of the 2020 End SARS protest. Later in the day, all 22 activists were released following discussions between the Lagos State Commissioner of Police and civil society representatives at the State Criminal Investigation Department. The activists' belongings, which had been seized during their arrest, were also returned.
Under the leadership of the Commissioner of Police in Lagos. I'm right now speaking to you. Look at me. From a black man. I am beaten and my phones are seizing. It's like last year. We have been robbed. Our phones have been taken by the police. It was struck away from the hands of our police officer without any provocation.
Oh, there you have it. Also, the Lagos State Environmental Sanitation Corps arrested 17 miscreants on Saturday during raids in areas including Ile-Epo, Abule-Egba, Ikeja on the bridge, and 7/8. Lagos State Commissioner for Environment, Tokunbo Wahab, confirmed the arrest via a post on X, sharing a video of the operation. This follows an earlier raid on Friday where Kai officers apprehended squatters and miscreants around Uzumba Mbadiwe in the Etiosa area. And gunmen suspected to be kidnappers abducted the former chairman of Donga local government area in Taraba State, Honorable Nashuka Ikpeyan, late Saturday night. According to sources from Donga, Ikpeyan was taken around 11 p.m. while returning to his hometown, Nyita, from Mararaba. The gunmen reportedly intercepted his private car at Nunkunya village along the Bali Takum Road and dragged him into the bush, abandoning his vehicle by the roadside. The source further revealed that the kidnappers have contacted Ikpeyan's family demanding a ransom of 60 million naira for his release. When contacted, Taraba State Police Command's Public Relations Officer Abdullahi Usman stated that he was awaiting a signal from the Divisional Police Officer in Donga local government area. And the Cross River State Police Command on Saturday said it has arrested 6 suspected Ambazonian rebels after invading Akankpa local government area of the state. The command spokesperson, Ewa Igri, said the suspected separatists were arrested following intelligence information describing the feat as a breakthrough for the law enforcement agency. He said that the suspects, whose age ranges between 18 and 36, were paraded with various weapons, improvised explosive devices, boots, charms, talismans, and flags. Igri added that they were found with various weapons, among others. The news agency of Nigeria reports that Ambazonia is a political entity proclaimed by Anglophone separatists who are seeking independence from Cameroon. Since 2017, Ambazonian rebels have engaged in armed conflict with the Cameroonian military in what is known as the Anglophone crisis. The rebels have attempted to set up governments in exile, and supportive militias have exerted control over parts of the claimed territory. And 9 months after the devastating explosion in Dejo Oyeleshe Bodija government residential area, affected residents are pleading for federal and state government intervention. The January 16 tragedy claimed multiple lives and destroyed properties worth millions of naira, leaving survivors in urgent need of assistance. Here's the report.
As residents reflect on the devastating events of January 16th, they expressed frustration and despair over the lack of tangible help. The explosion, which occurred on Dejo Oyeleshe Street, Ibadan, resulted in at least 10 fatalities, 50 injuries, and damage to at least 58 houses. Residents are urging the government to provide support and relief to those affected by the disaster. The scars remain fresh for the Dejo Oyeleshe vigilante group, comprised of about 250 families, primarily affected by the blast. They feel abandoned by the government, left to fend for themselves.
When disasters happen in other parts of the country, one of the first set of people to rise up to the occasion are the representatives of the people in the local government, state assembly, we have House of Rep people, and the senators. Unfortunately, in this particular instance, we are still expecting them to come around. We thought they should be our voice to talk to the federal government to help this kind of situation.
Residents like the spokesman of the Dejo Oyeleshe vigilante group demand that government alleviate their suffering.
It is another statement to say that we are in distress. As many of us have not been able to return to our homes and are still squatting with relatives and friends. Some of our houses destroyed by the blast are now overgrown with weeds and invaded by wild animals. Most of us are senior citizens who have no means of, at the twilight of our life, to embark on building new houses from our nuclear resources.
9 months later, victims are still grappling with the impact of the explosion and are calling for accountability from the government to curb illegal mining activities.
People who have labored for this nation, people who have served the country and still serving, to be treated like this. My mother was a widow of 50 years. Thank God she left a year before. We were just preparing for her first year anniversary, moving things to the house when this occurred. I'm saying we have a government in this country.
So someone in the area was shouting, put off your light, put off your light. So in the process of putting off the light, that was when the explosion happened. And it caught her right in the garage. All the roller shutters, became splinters.
People who represent us in the houses had not thought it fit to show empathy. Where are the senators? Where are they? And when voting comes, election comes, they keep knocking on your door I am Mr. Sususu. I want to represent you this area.
Residents yearn for a stronger connection with the government, asserting that the neglect of the explosion site is a poignant reminder of the need for swift intervention in times of crisis.
The chairman of the Kogi State Independent Electoral Commission, Mamman Da Eric, has declared the candidate of the All Progressives Congress winner in Saturday's local government chairmanship and councillorship election in the state. COSIAC chairman said that the APC candidates won the seat in all the 21 local governments and 239 wards in the said election. He described the election as peaceful, free, fair and credible. However, the opposition parties and youth leaders said the election is a mockery of democracy, describing it as more of a selection than election. The CMPP chairman in Kogi State, Comrade Muhammad Kabir Abdullahi, berated the Kogi State Independent Electoral Commission, saying that there was no local government election in the state. Also, the Lokoja local government chairmanship candidate of the Social Democratic Party described the conduct as laughable and a total caricature of electoral process. Meanwhile, Kogi State Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo commended the Kogi State Independent Electoral Commission for conducting a peaceful, credible, transparent and acceptable election across the 21 local government areas in the state. The governor, who voted in polling unit 1, Upogoro Odenku ward in Okene local government at the early hours of Saturday, commended the people of the state for conducting themselves peacefully, irrespective of their political affiliations. And to some developing issues, the Nigerian Army has dismissed media reports suggesting that there is leadership vacuum following the absence of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja. Army spokesman Onyema Nwachukwu said Lagbaja is on official leave and necessary protocols have been put in place for the Chief of Policy and Plans, Army Major General Abdul Salami Ibrahim, to act on behalf of the COAS during his absence. Major General Nwachukwu emphasized that Lagbaja's absence is not affecting the operations of the service. The Army spokesman said all routine and scheduled activities of the service are on course, adding that the appropriate departmental chiefs are fully carrying out their responsibilities in line with the COAS directives. He also called on the public to disregard rumors, assuring them of the Nigerian Army's continued service. And elsewhere, fish sellers in Jalingo, the capital of Taraba State, are lamenting the ongoing release of water from surrounding dams, which impacts the rivers where they source their fish. According to several fish marketers, this situation disrupts the smooth operation of their business. Now the report.
Typically, rainfall in the northeast subsides from late September to November, causing river and stream levels to drop and revealing fish, allowing sellers to access an abundant supply. However, this year, fish availability is still lacking compared to previous years. Many sellers attribute this issue to the continuous release of water from nearby dams, which has replenished rivers and streams, affecting their fish sources. Nasiru Idris, a supplier who transports fish from River Benue in Lau, Yashintuo, Mayorenowo in Ardo Kola, Jiru and Kabawa in Karim local government area, voiced his concerns and urged the relevant authorities to take action.
I
buy fish from the villages and use my car to transport it here for sale. I usually visit Manarewo, Lau, Yashintuo, Jiru, Kabawa and other villages to source fish. Our major challenge is the continuous release of water from the dams, which has refilled the rivers and pushed the fish deeper. If the water levels released from the dams can be reduced, the fish supply will improve.
Sani Aliyu, a dealer, stated that a major challenge in the business is the lack of proper storage facilities. He urged the government to provide freezers and generators to help preserve the fish and prevent spoilage.
The price of fish compared to last year has changed. We are now in the season where fish typically becomes more available due to the water withdrawal from the river, which has led to a reduction in prices. However, the major challenge we face is the cost of transportation.
Ayuba Abdullahi, pointed out that poor road networks and rising fuel prices are driving up fish prices.
We
source fish from various places, but we face numerous challenges, with transportation costs and the lack of vehicles to access these areas being the major ones. As the rivers and streams begin to dry, the fish are becoming more accessible. I'm calling on the government to assist us, especially considering the number of unemployed youth who rely on this business.
Customers Rahab Nelson, Deborah Samuel, and Success Joshua described the situation as unfavorable. They noted that while prices in the main market are cheaper than in other markets, they still remain high. According to them, fish may be available, but it is nearly unaffordable.
We think that here is a little bit better because things are very costly now. So we come this side in order to get a little better, affordable one, at least. I consume to myself, I also sell.
I'm from the NTA area. I buy fish, cook it, and sell it as a food vendor. These days, there isn't much fish available due to recent flooding in some areas, so we are not making any profits. We continue this business not to earn, but to maintain our customers until things stabilize because we anticipate changes in the near future.
The price has really increased. It is incomparable. It's like on daily basis, the price of fish are increasing. I think the fish is more available now than the past 2 weeks because the level of the water is becoming a little bit down and the fish are coming up.
Both customers and sellers are calling on the government to intervene and address the situation.
You're watching the news update on Trust Television. Coming up shortly. Gombe youth preserving northern culture through clothing. This and more after the break. Join us again. Welcome back. If you're just joining, it's the news update on Trust Television. Now let's take a recap of our top stories again. NSAS anniversary. Police release detained protesters as leaders demand implementation of panel reports. And 9 months after devastating explosion in Bodija, affected residents call for urgent government interventions. And to more news now, operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have arrested 2 businessmen identified as Ihejirika Emmanuel and Iwagu Victory over alleged drug trafficking. Ihejirika, who frequently travels to Thailand claiming to import fish into Nigeria, was arrested on October 15, 2024, while attempting to board an Ethiopian Airlines flight to Thailand via Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. A statement by the agency's spokesperson, Femi Babafemi, on Sunday stated that when Ihejirika was taken for a body scan, the results showed he had ingested illicit drugs which were later confirmed to be cocaine. Babafemi noted that Victory was arrested at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, after arriving from Brazil via Addis Ababa during the inward clearance of passengers on an Ethiopian Airlines flight. Babafemi also said a Nigerian-Canadian nurse identified as Usman Grace Khadijat Olami was arrested on October 4th by NDLEA officers at Lagos Airport during the inward clearance of Air France passengers arriving from Toronto, Canada via Paris. During a search of her luggage, Babafemi said a total of 70 parcels of Canadian loud weighing 35.70 kilograms were recovered from her. Now, Babanriga is an attire with cultural significance that extends beyond Nigeria. Men from northern Nigeria wear it alongside a hula, a colorful embroidered cap originally from the Kanuri people. The outfit consists of 3 pieces: trousers, a shirt, and a large gown, typically worn during special occasions like weddings and naming ceremonies. Traditionally associated with respect and dignity for the elderly, the Babanriga is increasingly worn by younger adults who embrace it as a source of cultural pride. Trust TV's Hassan Koli from Gombe brings details.
Nigeria's ethnic diversity is vividly expressed through its clothing,
which reflects personal identity. For instance, a man in babbar riga and hula and a woman in an abaya are instantly recognized as parts of the Hausa Fulani tribe. Traditionally, the babbar riga or gari was primarily worn by the elderly as a standard everyday dress rather than just on special occasions. However, despite its cultural significance, many young adults find the babbar riga irrelevant, opting instead for kaftan or Western-style clothing.
What I believe is that babariga is for ceremony or is for occasion. If there is no any ceremony or occasion, gaskiya and me, I don't used to wear babariga. Even if it is Friday, I only wear it once in a year. Or if there is a ceremony like wedding or convocation or any ceremony that has to do with babariga, I used to wear it. But if there is no any ceremony, me, I don't wear babariga.
And usually, most of us at this tender age or the younger age, we don't engage in wearing such attires because some of us prefer it as in for the oldest generation. But as a result of increase in some money of the small, what am I going to say, like English ways. So some of us are turning back to the Hausa attires, or I don't say normal Hausa Fulani attires, that is babariga, as a result of the increase in the price of the English wares. That is one big reason that some of us are returning back to the normal attire. And this is one of the major reasons that we don't usually wear babariga, popularly known as Hausa attires.
For young people like Usman, a 28-year-old resident, wearing a babariga brings comfort and pride, even though many of his friends mock his style, calling him an old man.
Al'ada ce ta Hausa Fulani.
Wearing the gari is a tradition of Hausa Fulani. And as a Fulani man, I feel most comfortable in this attire. I believe it helps preserve our culture and distinguishes us from other tribes. When people from other tribes come to Gombe, our traditional dress showcases our customs, so I wear it to honor and preserve our heritage.
Mai kullun za a ga mutum da gari ya fita ya je yayi sallan juma'a ya zo na zauna office, alhamdulillah.
Clothing plays a vital cultural role in fostering a sense of belonging, unity, and collective identity. This is true for various tribes in Nigeria, all of whom take pride in wearing their traditional attire. From Gombe, Hassan Koli, reporting for Trust TV.
Well, there you have it. And away from Nigeria now, as the civil war rages on in Sudan, in addition to food shortages, residents in the capital, Khartoum, are grappling with a worsening water crisis. They now have to fetch water from the Nile River using carts or purchase untreated water, which has become scarce. The city's key water infrastructure, including a Nile River water treatment plant and several urban supply stations, has been severely damaged in the ongoing fighting. In addition, a shortage of personnel and spare parts means networks in multiple districts have been disrupted for months, leaving tens of thousands of households without water. Drinking untreated water has exposed people to illnesses, including the waterborne bacteria disease cholera. The Sudanese Ministry of Health said Saturday that a vaccination campaign targeting more than 1.4 million people against cholera started in eastern and northern parts of the country. Sudan has been ravaged by a deadly conflict between the Sudanese armed forces and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, which started in mid-April last year. Since start of the fighting, epidemic diseases such as cholera, malaria, measles, and dengue fever have spread, leading to hundreds of deaths. The Health Ministry has so far reported 25,037 cases of cholera and 702 related deaths. And that wraps up the news update at this hour. Do not forget to follow us across all of our social platforms and catch our live stream on YouTube and Facebook for more news programs and documentaries. My name is Sakir Ibrahim. Thanks for watching.